you with a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity.
YRS, worldwide.
YRS Consulting, the first word you hear in career development.
Resumes, cover letters, personal branding, black envelopes.
Putting in the man hours you need to get the results.
Last week, we put a picture on a resume. It sucked.
Investors, possibly you. Are we rolling? Yes, we are. This is your resume sucks. I'm Andre Harden.
Where was your sound effects?
Don't worry about that. Here we go. We still going. Your resume sucks. Episode
5.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself. I'm Goalie Green.
Again, I'm Andre Harden. Let's go ahead. Jump right into it.
Yeah.
This is a episode that we kind of tossed around a couple of times, and people
did.
just be like, you know, where we're gonna go with this. It was gonna be a casual Friday topic.
It was.
But we decided to make it an episode.
Yeah, we did.
Invest in yourself. I don't think any year, you know, what we had with 2020 coming into 2021 and be like, how are we gonna make ourselves look different than everybody that's out here? Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
Where are we going with this today, Goldie?
We're gonna go a lot of places.
Okay.
I mean, the important thing is that, you know what? I'm gonna just get right down to it.
Okay.
I talk to people all the time that frustrate the hell out of me.
Okay.
And it's not because they're not spending money with me or doing something for me. It's because they're not doing anything for themselves. Like, I can go to a store, see them lined up to go buy things that they don't need. You know, we can go out to a happy hour, blow $120, $150 on drinks, multiple nights.
Okay, well, don't put me on blast. I mean, I'm investing in my good night.
Yeah.
But you're saying I should be investing in my career.
I'm saying invest in your good night. But if you can invest in a good night, you can invest in your career. A good career is going to give you more good nights. It's going to give you a better lifestyle too.
That's true. That is true.
Am I lying? But if you but let's just be honest.
Okay.
Somebody hits you up. Hey, I need you to do a resume. Okay, how much you charge? You tell them, man, that's a lot of money. You be like, dude, you just bought the new Jordan drop, man.
True. You know, people spend money and do all that type of stuff for what they want to do. You know,
100%.
If it's important to them, then they're going to spend the money for it. So, you know, if the Jordans are important to me, guess what?
Look, I like Jordans. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I'm an Air Max dude. I've converted all the way over to Air Max, but that's not either here nor there.
But you invested in your shoe game, right? Because it's important to you.
Yes, absolutely.
So why wouldn't your career be important to you?
Exactly. So if the career is what I need to buy the Air Max by proxy,
true,
I'm gonna invest in the career.
True.
And that's just on a small scale. You could take it to, you know, if you wanna buy a house, you have to make the right investments to get to the point of buying a house. If you want to go and get a certification, you have to go and make the right, you know, arrangements and investments to get the certification. Anything that's gonna pay you dividends, or as we always talk about, anything that's gonna give you a ROI is gonna require you to put something in up front. And, you know, it can be trivial sometimes to people when you're talking about resumes,
right,
or when you're talking about career coaching and things like that.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is that, let's say that you are a chemical engineer, and you know, currently make $85,000 a year, but based on the market where you're at, you really should be at about 110.
Okay.
What's going to get you in front of a person to even be able to secure the 110? Your resume.
Well, you know, we're kind of at this time of the year, pandemic, all this type of stuff going off, that you know, the playing field is really spread out. You have people overseas, over here, that have qualified for this type of positions that you never thought would ever be qualified for.
Yeah.
And now, more than ever, you have to stick out to
Like
your
a sore thumb.
I mean,
you need to be a billboard.
It is going to be so competitive right now, and we knew this time was coming. Nobody ever wanted to admit it.
Yeah.
But it is time to invest in yourself, invest in your background, get you some extra skills to make you stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have really reached that point that it's like, golly, I really need to get some certifications. I need to go back to school. I need to do this, this, and that because again, I'm from Detroit.
Gary, Indiana.
Hey, and people working with their hands, all that type of stuff. They made a good living, all that type of stuff. But now we're living in a different era.
Absolutely.
Where, it's going to be competitive on, almost on a technology scale of things right now.
Everything you do is going to be competitive. I mean, trade still pays. You know what I mean? So if you have a trade, that's a phenomenal thing. But just don't forget, I think what happens is when you go to school for a trade or you go to college or whatever it is,
right.
You're so excited just to not have to go to school anymore. You're so happy to not have to study, to not be broke,
right.
eating ramen noodles, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, just trying to skate by,
yeah.
depending on how you went to school. But for me, that was more like how my setup was.
Well, I had my ramen noodles with shrimp, and I had some seasoning to go with it. So,
oh, you fancy?
Mine was pretty good.
That's fancy.
That was 2002.
But the thing is, I was just motivated to go and start making some money. So when you say, oh, you should continue to go back to school, continue to educate yourself, you're like, man, I don't really want to do that. It's not about what you really want to do outside of what you're specializing in.
Yeah.
Definitely focus on what you want to do with your specialization. But once you identify that, you gotta go through the checks and balances. Get the certificates, get the licenses, get the experience, get the networking exposure,
right.
Get into the rooms that you're not connected to right now. Until you get to that point where you are a billboard and you don't need a resume,
right.
When roles come up, people are like, who are the best supply chain people we know in the city?
And
this person.
And we're at that point now where, it's really going to take that. And, of course, it's about who you know, how you going to get there, all that type of stuff. You got a good network there. But if you're starting from scratch and you need, your background to speak for yourself, there's no time like the present to actually move forward with that. If you're going to get your CPA or your C whatever, or some type of certification, this is the time to actually do that. Because, I was actually talking to one of the recruiters today, internally corporate, and he was saying that he has actually received more applications that he has ever seen in the past 5 years right now.
I can believe it.
And they're all qualified.
I can believe it. I mean, you got to think. One thing we learned in the pandemic was that people can effectively work from home. Right now, in the IT space,
correct,
and in some companies, this was already something that people knew and they were comfortable with. But if we're using oil and gas, for example, it's a very conventional industry. And in the energy industry, they want to see people in the office.
Yeah.
They want you, in at 7:38, out at 5, but really 6.
Right.
And they have a different method of how they like to run their business. But even in the energy space, they've identified that, hey, productivity didn't necessarily drop off just because we had people at home.
Right.
And by the way, when you have a company that has 50,000 people in it, that's a big building.
Right.
That's a few big buildings
right.
that you have to pay for. That's overhead.
Right.
So they don't want to have to carry that overhead if they don't need it. Now, there are certain teams that definitely need to be next to one another in order for them to have continuity and to be able to work together effectively. But for a large majority of the organization, they don't need to be next to each other in order to get their job done. So what you're going to start to see in the job market is a global talent pool, which means if the person's going to be at home anyway, and I don't need to see them, and when I want to do a meeting, I can get on Teams, I can get on
right.
Zoom or
right.
GoToMeeting or whatever,
right.
and I can see this person. If I really have to have them present, I can fly them here.
Right.
How much money does that save?
Right.
See, now you're entering into a market where, does a supply chain professional or engineer make the same money in Las Vegas that they would get paid in the UK? They might not.
Yeah.
Because even in recruitment, recruiters in the UK, we know it's a different. It's not like for like on pay.
Right.
It's a vast difference. You know, cost of living, a lot of things that
Right.
you don't have to take into account as a company when you're running a business globally. So you're about to see some things change. Even if the company isn't global, as long as they have the systems, they can still hire a person somewhere else.
Right.
That's a different ballgame.
You're right, and you know, you really don't think of it to that scale. You're like, somebody over there. We're on different time schedules. We're on, you know, it'll never affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Fact of the matter is,
It will.
It is. It is going to. You know, people are going to start reducing costs, cutting costs. You already see that right now with some of the highest unemployment numbers that we have right now. People are trying to do, like, it was always a concept to do more with less, but now it's like a necessity.
Yeah.
At this particular point, to
running a lean organization that's the model now.
Yeah, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do it with the best people that we have.
Yep.
Or can get at, you know, whatever type of rate. So you will see a shift in that. I know, everybody, we got the vaccine. We're gonna come back to the office and everything's gonna be all right. You know,
maybe not.
the verdict is still out on that.
Yeah.
You know, as of right now, because we're still trying to figure our way out through this. But you know, this time that you have all for this lull that we have right now, you have got to put in your mind that this is about to be one of the most competitive markets that you have ever seen, probably in your lifetime as of right now. And especially, you know, given your type of profession, if it's something that can be done over a computer, you have got to realize that everybody in the world has access to that and can apply for that as well.
100%.
So what's going to make you stand out, be different about your background? Invest in yourself. I can't stress that enough right now. Get yourself some skills, get yourself some certifications, degrees that's going to, if you were ever on the fence about it, this is the time to do it. To do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think that we're going to have a let up for, you know, another couple years. Again, talking to some people, they were like, they think we're going to be in this lull for another, you know, like couple years with that, because they're just comfortable with, you know, the moving forward and how are we going to make this stuff happen. So they're going to be in this little box for a little while. And that box right now is scary.
Yeah, and it's only as soon as people see success in using these virtual teams, they're only going to increase it. So the impact is actually going to grow from a global talent pool perspective.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you guys, you know, want to probably know to invest in yourself? Obviously, we talked about resumes first. Resume writing, to be quite honest, is an art, and that's not just because that's what we do. It's just fact. You know, to have a well-written resume, it does strike a chord with HR professionals and managers,
right.
And it puts you in a position where you can have leverage going into the interview. So that's definitely one thing you want to make sure you have set up properly. But some of the other things that you might not be thinking about, what about coaching?
You know, when you say coaching, people are like, man, I don't really need coaching.
What does that mean? I don't need anybody to coach me.
I don't need coaching, you know. Even when we were playing sports in high school and all that type of stuff.
Like Kyrie, we don't really need a coach.
Yeah, we don't need a coach.
I mean, we can all shoot.
We go out there and score however many points. We don't need coaching. We don't need coaching. But when you sit back and realize that, you know, even with your mentor or whatever, you're still getting coaching.
Yep.
You're getting coaching. You're getting a different perspective from somebody that you're like, I'm biased to this type of opinion. This is my way of thinking. And you're like, maybe there's a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
And that part right there is what's going to set you up for success years on down the line.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Did Bill Gates coach the guys at Google? Did Elon Musk have a coach?
Okay. So I see where you're going with that.
I mean,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
mentorship is a big part of success. If you
Right.
look at it, take anybody that you look up to, look at their success. I guarantee you, there's somebody who mentored them. Whether you want to call it a coach, a mentor, whatever, there's somebody who was in that capacity.
But I'm a self-made millionaire.
Well, you are, because you got to do the work. Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you get to coach you. You can go get Tony Robbins, but he's gonna tell you the same thing. You got to do the work, and that's the thing with coaches will fire you.
Yeah.
It's no different than a football team. I told you to run the route like this. You decided to go over there. We didn't get a touchdown.
I felt it was a better route.
I felt better about it.
Yeah, I felt better about
In
it.
the moment, it felt right.
I committed to it and I did it. Did it score us a touchdown?
No.
But that's all right. I felt good about it. And that's, usually when people are like, I don't want to invest in it. You need to invest in yourself, get you some coaching, get you some resumes. What else do we need to do? I mean, like certifications, education right now, is that going to be, something that's going to turn the tide right now?
I think it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you're an accountant or if you're a financial analyst or something like that, and you don't have your CPA, maybe you should look at going to get it. Maybe
True.
you should look at getting your certified finance certificate. Maybe you should look at getting Lean Six Sigma if you're in manufacturing and supply chain.
Okay.
There's certifications for almost every industry and discipline.
Right.
But even if you take a step back from the certifications, just talking about investing in yourself, what about what you eat? What about what you read? There's
Okay.
it doesn't have to be $0 to $10,000 on a certification.
Gotcha.
You can start at a resume. Probably cost you a couple $100. Okay, so you get that out the way. Then you invest in a couple of books. $20 here, $20 there. You invest in some, free classes on LinkedIn, Udemy, edX, Harvard Business Review. They're there. Actually, to be quite honest, this is the best time for you to get a taste of those things because HBR, Harvard Business Review, and some of these other programs are running a lot of free classes. Now, they won't give you the whole section to get a certificate from them, but you'll be able to get enough of it to know, you know what, this is the direction I want to go. I'm willing to save enough money to invest in getting this certification.
Correct.
So investing in yourself, it's not a one-size-fit-all thing. If you're in great health and you get good rest and you're very well read and you expose yourself to the right things and all you need is that certification, then yeah, go ahead and get the certification. But if you're at a point where you're like, you know what, I'm trying to figure out what I really want to do, I don't know where I'm going right now, then maybe that's when you look for more of the mentorship or more of the books and the reading and things like that to help you define where you're trying to go.
Well, that's a good point because talking to some of the college kids, like with this pandemic and, things being virtual right now, there's a lot of people giving up on themselves. So
that's true.
They are not investing in themselves. They are literally giving up because virtual stuff is not for them. Where we at right now and just stuff is being iffy. There's a lot of people taking their cards off the table and just waiting around to see what happens. And, at some point in time, there's going to be, people are going to pass you up. They're going to take advantage of this time. And, fact of the matter, the cream of the crop is about to rise in some of these situations. And it's sad to see and have that type of conversation, where we're involved with some of the other extracurricular activities, talking to the college kids, but they're, really getting discouraged. You have other people, applying for jobs here, and there, not getting any responses. And you're really starting to see a lot of people start to hunker down and be like, I'm just not going to do anything right now because this is not the time for me to do anything. But I highly encourage you to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep, your foot on the pedal. Keep it on the gas. Still invest in yourself. Figure out something. If it's a career change or anything that you need to make right now, again, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
This is an unprecedented time. There's no book or whatever to tell you how to navigate, through these times right now.
Absolutely.
People are still searching for answers and just walking around trying to figure their way out. But to keep pressing forward, that's going to say a lot about your character, a lot about who you are,
and you'll learn a lot about yourself in the process.
Dude,
I mean, that's probably the best thing. When all struggle and tribulations are for a reason.
Right.
It's to build you. You can't grow a proper plant without pruning. You need to prune yourself too. There's probably a lot of stuff you could cut out and get rid of, and add on things that are going to actually feed you so that you get the ROI. If you're not getting a return on investment, then you need to really look at what you're doing. Take that inventory. That's why I'm such a big proponent of having day planners.
Yeah.
Whether you want to do it online or you write it down, it just gives you some insight into what you're actually investing your time in.
Right.
And once you figure out what you're investing your time in, you can cut stuff out, and then you can replace it with things that are actually going to benefit you. And that makes it a lot easier to make decisions when you're talking about spending money, because I get it. Like, we're not in a time where people, on a wide basis just have, tons of money to throw away. Most people are probably, if they have money, they're trying to keep it just in case things go left again. So, you want to make sure you put it in the right spots, but you need to be doing something. Investing in yourself is just like investing in the stock market. If you sit on the sideline, you get nothing. And the people who play the long game and put some money in, they get something.
Well, I mean, hopefully there's no drawback or drawdown like the stock market. Everything that you do yourself is probably just up, which is unlike the stock market. Let me tell you, definitely lose some.
You can, if you want to be risky, you can.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna gamble on yourself,
if you want to be if you're a doctor and you want to, try out truck driving, then that's a risk. But I mean, if you're a truck driver and you need to get your CDL, that's not a risk.
Yeah, I mean, investing in yourself is just all upside as of right now, and I think we're at a time that we need to go ahead, press forward.
Yeah.
This is more of the positive message that we have to give to everybody to encourage everybody to keep going, doing what you do. If it is time for a career change and you need some advice and coaching, YRS Consulting.
YRS Consulting.
Worldwide. We're here. We're here for you. Stay encouraged. Keep your head up. Keep pressing forward. I'm Andre Harden.
I'm Goalie Green.
This is Your Resume Sucks.
We'll catch y'all next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Your Resume Sucks.
Please be sure to like, hate, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to go to our website at YRS Consulting, YRS Consulting, where you can book an appointment for a resume writing session, a coaching session, or to get that merch. Oh yeah, and follow us on YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the podcast platforms,
all the casts.
Instagram. We'll see you guys next time.
Armcast, baby.